All right, guys, welcome back to another video. I told you I was going to hit you with a quick upload, so here we go. What we're going to do on this video is we're going to be assembling the case, putting all the components from Revmax back into the case to where it'll be a complete transmission. Our next video after this one, we'll probably be doing the valve body, things like that, doing the final touches with like sensors, things like that. But in this video, what we're going to show you guys is how it goes back together. And some things I've learned along the way. As you go through this video, you're gonna see like there's some lessons learned personally from me being my first time. So enjoy the video and comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. All right, guys, we're gonna start the case assembly here. Going to get this piston, this overdrive drive piston, into the case itself. So put some lubricant on this thing, some tranny fluid. I didn't film putting this in, but this is the section that it just has a gasket between here. It just slides right in, and then you torque these in a star pattern of 100 inch-pounds. So that part is done. It's pretty simple. I was out here the other day with my daughter and just knocked it out. What I'm doing here is I'm getting the lip seal over the shaft that comes out there, so I don't mess that one up. And you want to make sure these seals have kind of like the area, or this area where it pushes out, so when the fluid pushes against it, it captures the fluid. You don't want it to be the other way, to where the fluid can blow between the case itself and the seal. So all right, so that one's on. And our next one is the actual seal right here itself. And that's what this lip seal is for. It actually helps it go in so you don't tear it or get it pushed back or roll it. Our next thing we're going to do is put our low reverse stuff in here. I'm going to put this pin in right now. And you guys saw in that last clip I stabbed it in there. That's where it sits at. So the band, I'll show you real quick. Let me grab it. So the band itself, these two sit up against that, and when the lever applies it, it hits that lever. So I'm going to throw this in. Cool, we're good on that, so I'll go grab the components to put in here. Got our reverse sprag, so we'll go ahead and throw this in here. Next thing we're going to want to throw in is our drum. Throw in our new bronze thrush washer. And then we're going to throw in our snap ring. That part's done. We're slowly getting parts out of this thing and getting it put back together. All right, guys, so we got our reverse band in. Got our drum. Got that joker in. Our next step now is to throw our intermediate shaft in. So let's go ahead and do that. See if we can get this lined up real nice. And she's in there. We're making room. All right, guys, I found a problem. I'm an idiot. So you see how the teeth are a lot closer together and a lot more spaced apart? I had these mix matched with each other and I tested it. These big teeth go on the, go inside the direct drive. These ones go here because these ones will wrap actually around the intermediate shaft. Or this bearing right here. So lesson learned, don't do what I did. But it answers a lot of questions for me now, so we should be able to get this going. All right, guys, I do not recommend doing this at home, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna make some room. I'm gonna try to set that between those two blocks and set this upright so I can put this together, and we'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. All right, so let's build this thing how the professional should. There's that. Alright, now that we got our washers in there like we're supposed to have, let's make sure this joker is, it is. We are in there, our teeth are in there. All right, next is our pump. All right, so I got the overdrive housing case bolts right now. And the reason I have those is because, I'll show you real quick. There's threads right here that allow you to hold it and drop it in there nice. And what I'm saying is, like this, so you can place it. I'm not putting any gaskets in right now. I'm just gonna drop it in and check my end play, and I'll put a few screws in, a few bolts in, just to hold it down. So when I check the housing backlash, or yeah, the end play, it won't move. All right, so now we're gonna install our new billet one. It's gonna go old spring on here, throw this joker on, and I'm gonna put it in the press here to help me compress it a little bit, because it's just a one-man show right now. And we should be good to go. All right, so finally we got that snap ring on. That thing kicked my butt. But now we have our Teflon seals on here. We have our lip seal. You want to make sure, see how it's that way? It's going to go in like this. So I'm going to soak this in fluid and get it in there. And the reason I'm doing this is so I can actually put the overdrive housing on. I need to put this in first because the pin that holds in this lever is sealed by the overdrive housing. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, so that thing fought me, as you guys seen. Now we need to put in our spring. This spring isn't too bad. I say that, now it's going to give me troubles. Oh, thank God that is done. All right, so now we come over here to our kit, get these old O-rings off. All right, so we found our new O-rings. Let's go ahead and put these jokers on. Okay, we got one. And we got two. I'm gonna take a little gasket maker here and put it on here just to give us an extra layer of protection. And we're gonna push her up in here. She's in there. So now we can put our overdrive housing on, and I will flip this over for that process and go from there. All right, so we are to the point now where we are putting overdrive housing back on so we can make her look like a transmission again. So here we go. Let's go grab it. All right, guys, so I wanted to cover this topic again. You see I got my overdrive drum back out. And as I was trying to put it on the intermediate shaft, it wouldn't go down. So I messed up and I didn't align the splines. I thought I did, but I didn't. So went back and did some more research. My measurements here for the overdrive bushing or spacer was real questionable, and I wanted to cover it again just for the simple fact that I have an extra clutch in here. So when I went back and I looked at everything, started doing some more research, it all made sense. The wavy snap ring that I have in here, so when you stack this, it's a flat snap ring, a wavy snap ring, then your thrust plate, your modified thrust plate, and then you do friction, steel, friction steel, so on and so forth, till you get to the end and you put your snap ring back in. So now what I'm going to do is I got this tool here that calls for the measurement of the spacer, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my measuring tool out, wherever the heck that might be. You may notice I have this spacer in my hand. I'm going to show you guys what this measures to be. So you take it here, kind of hard because I don't want the spacers at the back, but I'll show you guys the number. So 750 thousandths. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I got that. I come over here and I reference my manual, and when I do that, it tells me 0.7506 to 0.7675. My spacer needs to be 0.175 to 0.176. So I'm going to measure this and the thickness of this. So I got 170 on this. I'm going to take a shim, see how my shim looks. And this is 0.010, I believe. So 1765 is what I have. So that should be our spacer. I just wanted to explain that to you guys because I was having a hard time with this and I was just racking my brain. I was like, man, I'm building this transmission. I don't want to mess it up. So that's what we got. I feel so much better now that I can actually throw this thing on and we can go from there. So now that we have all that, we know our bearing goes right there. I'm going to take the shim and put it inside here so it doesn't pop out. It stays put in. Take my spacer, put it right there. Grab our bearing, and we know it's going to go like this on our spacer, and it'll sit in here. So here we go. Let's get this thing put on for good. There we go. All right, so the next thing we're going to do here is measure in shaft play. $30 thousandths. All right, you guys notice now that I have the oil pump off. Well, if you can't see it, it's right there. I got the oil pump off. I'm going to go ahead and install our second gear band, and then I will put the gasket and put the oil pump back on for good. All right, guys, so we got all of our bolts torqued them down to 17 foot-pounds. This part is sealed up. You guys notice I have one more hole here, and what this is for your second gear apply lever. I'm just going to go ahead and stick this in now, so that way the front of this case is fixed up, and I can go ahead and just lay it on its back and work on it that way. It will not interfere with us putting in our accumulator spring, as I've already messed with it just to see. Everything should look good there. guys, we got to the point now where we're going to adjust our bands. We need to hit this one at 72 inch-pounds, and also our adjustment band here at 72 inch-pounds. I know you guys can't see it, but bring it around. So this one as well, have the nut backed off. Once you get it to 72 inch-pounds, you're going to turn it, I believe, 3 turns. Let me check. All right, so I broke this loose with a 9/16. We're going to torque this down to 72 inch-pounds, and we're going to back it off 3 1/4 turns. So here we go. Got my torque wrench set up. Let's take that nut off. Alright, there's 72 inch-pounds. Now we are going to, I'm going to put this back on just to, we're warm and fuzzy. We're going to take this off 3 1/4 turns. So I'm going to start here at kind of my 6 o'clock, and then I'm going to do 1, 2, oh. Start over. $72 inch-pounds. All right, let's do this smarter now. So 6 o'clock, we'll do 1, 2, 3 1/4 turn. Boom. That way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hold this while I'll tighten. There we go. So that one's done. One thing I forgot to do is I'm going to put some gasket maker on this bolt so we don't have any leaks out of there, since I will be putting it in for the final time. I'll clean it up a little bit, dry it off. And most of this is actually in the case, so I'm going to keep it kind of towards the front here, like the first third. I hate messing with this stuff. Alright, so we're two turns back out. 1, too. Alright, we're good. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and throw the old pan back on here. So I am clear of keeping all this clean. And also so I can paint the transmission. So cleaned it out real good with some brake clean just on both sides, just so no contaminants cross over. But literally doing this to cover up and seal the bottom end. All right, now that we got her out here, it's time for her brake clean bath. All right, boys and girls, as you guys can see, we got our transmission painted. I'll probably throw another coat on there just for good measures, but it came out looking really well. We used our engine enamel ceramic paint. It withstands heat up to, sorry for the glare guys, but withstands heat up to 500 degrees. So there's the color we went with. Turned out pretty good. I do have a few drips back here. I don't know if you guys can see them because of the sun, but a few drips from the transmission fluid in the pan. I don't have a gasket. It's just a cover for right now, but she looks pretty flawless, boys and girls. I'm pretty proud of myself. So just need to let her dry, and then we can put in the final switches. Our neutral safety switch and our 8-pin connector once we get our accumulator. And then these are just temporary right now. I got new AN fittings. These are just covers. But yeah, she turned out pretty good, guys. I'm pretty impressed. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. If you stuck around this long, we have another video coming up here in a couple days, the final assembly of everything, and then we're going to throw it back in the truck. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you guys haven't been here before, please like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, just one other thing, guys, leave me some comments down below. Let me know how I did. This was my first transmission build. I took it slow and methodical. That way I knew I, crossed all my T's, dotted all my I's, but it was pretty fun, nerve-wracking at the same time. But it's a learning experience, and I feel comfortable enough to do this again. So when the trans needs a refresh, hopefully it'll take, a quarter of the time since I've already done it. But, you live and learn. So once again, appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you on the next upload. Have a good one.